Hey, buddy.
Hey
Can you
Mark,
hear
how
me?
you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I
Just
am well, thanks.
apologies, man. I'm just kind of catching up. I didn't have a chance to fully do your worksheet because I
Right
do
on.
commercial real estate, and so we just went under contract on a big property. So like all these emails and stuff like that are coming in. So apologies, man.
Gotcha. No worries. We can run through it here. I just
Yeah,
any more more you had done would have been better, but regardless, no worries.
I think
We'll
I
just
got
dive
all
right.
of it. So let me just paste this here. Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Let me go live real quick. We'll just dive right into it. For some reason, the first time I've ever went to do a Facebook Live and it won't let me select my group. It only lets me select my timeline or a page. I'm not sure if
Ah,
something changed like with going live to Facebook groups. It's the first time I went live last week. So that's
right.
weird. So we're gonna go live on my page, and then I'll go post the replay in the PDOCS group. Weekly live stream, and normally I do this in my group, and I'm not sure why. I was just live to Facebook via Zoom that it only gave me the option of my own timeline or a page, not a group to select from. So I got to go in and do some research. I didn't feel like texting out of here and going and troubleshooting it right this minute. So we're just going to go live into my personal timeline here, and then I'll upload the replay into the group later. So just for some context and to dive into it quickly, what we're going to do is go through some very essential offer criteria. I talked a little about my expertise, how many offers I've crafted, the criteria we're going through today. And now I just want to get in and dive in and implement it in real time and show you an example. Mark and I had never worked together. I think you've been through some of my trainings and stuff, Mark, but we've never worked together in a one-on-one, and I've never crafted your offer. And I didn't know anything about it other than the small paragraph you sent me the other day. Talking about this. So I just want to show people how putting this together, how one session with somebody that kind of knows what they're doing and has a framework, you can put this into practice and build out a full offer. So why don't we just start, Mark, by sharing your screen
Yep.
and show me what you started with, and we'll start there before we get into my aspect of it.
Sure thing.
And if you just want to give a little overview to anybody watching of your niche industry and just a little background for context right before we go into this.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I actually started out as a GHL SaaS agency, and then started to try to create some core competencies surrounding Facebook ads and other things. You know, dabbling in some SEO, and it all just by the end of the last year, it all became very kind of commoditized. And I had a couple clients that I was working with, but I could see the writing on the wall, and it wasn't scaling. So I decided to revamp my offer. I had put out there that I was just doing, pretty much anybody who would come along, I would do local businesses and and help them out. HVAC, plumbing, med spas, it didn't matter. Pilates studios, was all over the place. So my wife is a 30-year veteran of the dental industry, and she's worked in all aspects um, of dental practices, and so she's kind of my let's call it strategic advisor in this business. And we
Gotcha.
decided to craft one offer within the dental practice niche, and within dentistry, really focusing on the high ticket fee for service type of dentist. So cosmetic dentists, orthodontists, some pedodontics, but not really. Maybe some O&M, so surgery guys, the guys that do, they do all your deep surgery, things
Yeah.
like that. And really, the juice is going to be in the cosmetic dentistry, TMJ things, implants, all that high ticket stuff. And along with that, we're not just offering ads to those. What we're doing is we're building out complete, um, let's call it an infrastructure. So it's like build and release infrastructure. It's a 90-day program. We're more like growth consultants. We are during that 90 days, we basically do let's call it a pre-mortem. We go through, all of the risks that the dental practice might see regarding their marketing, risk to the actual survival of the practice, and we figure out what those risks are, and then we just apply solutions from a marketing perspective and a patient acquisition lead generation perspective to solve for that. So we're backing into fixing that, and then we build it out. We build out the systems, the processes. We hire the talent, so setters, closers. If they have a
Cool.
treatment
We're going to dive
coordinator,
in. You're going way, way deep,
yeah, yeah,
which is
no, no, I'm
great, which is
sorry.
great. We're going to dive into a lot of this. And that's
Sorry, I
just,
just want to give context because
no, no,
it's not
no.
going to be clear from this offer. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, it's a build and release, defined end, 90 days, and then they can carry on, management wise after we release it to them. So that's it.
Cool, cool. So no, that is great. That's just my point. And with almost everybody I talk to when I ask like for simply like what they're doing, what they go into like very, very in depth. I understand this case, right? Because it is context for other people watching totally.
Right.
But people just have a problem just like, hey, I help people, optimize their Facebook ads by injecting first party data to lower their cost per acquisition, right? Or whatever. Like,
Yep.
and that's what I want to get through here because that simplicity is what helps our marketing and our messaging, really just dialing in that stuff in a very 1 to 2 sentence brevity driven kind of manner.
Sure.
Actually goes a lot farther and it really helps you in your marketing because a confused mind will never buy. So as simply as we can get our points across and dive into that. Are you able to zoom in or just make this document a little bigger? It's just
Yeah, I
kind of
can zoom in,
small.
of course. One sec.
And for anybody watching and that didn't see those, these would be the 6 kind of criteria. There's the numbers 1 through 6 on the screen that are in bold. We're going to kind of dive into.
Can you see that?
Yep, that's perfect. That's perfect. So I'm just going to go through yours real quick. And then those actually look, see, I like this. These, and you only got through, these are nice and clear and concise. So these are great. But the big problem we solve, cosmetic dentists and other dental struggle to attract and convert high value patients consistently, leading to underbooked calendars and missed revenue opportunities because they're stuck in a cycle. So you went even a little farther, right? I would even shorten that down to something along the lines of, because you're talking about the who there, right? When it says who suffers from it, you answered that in your first part of number 1, first off. So that's the same thing you have in number 2, right? Your first few words, which is fine. All we're asking for there is the problems. So, helping specialists who struggle to, or the problem is specialists consistently struggling to attract and convert high value clients, patients consistently and predictably. That's the real problem. Then you're talking about the next problem, leading to, which is totally spot on, and I would elaborate on that. But initially, the problem is, struggling to attract and convert those high value patients consistently and predictably. Okay. That's really the problem in my mind, in like shortest form. Then I love how you said who suffers from it. I would actually leave it that plain right now. We're going to talk about the avatar a little more when I get to the crafting it. But I love how you kept that very clear and concise. Now you didn't quite fill in the problem. You still have our example there, but the solution to your problem. So let's say, remember that just the problem here as we're first thinking of this. Don't think that's another problem with the business owner. You said your solution so many times that you haven't dialed in, right? Like think about it from, hey, if I'm a specialist, Mark, and my struggle is to attract and convert high value patients consistently and predictably, what's your solution?
Yep. I would say fill calendar with qualified patients.
Consistently and predictably.
Consistently and predictably. Yeah, actually, so then high valued and qualified, is that too much?
Call it that. I think they're one and the same. I would just leave qualified.
Okay.
People know what a qualified patient is, and that's their ideal client, basically. You know what I mean? Somebody that's ideal for their business.
Yeah.
Whether that's right now or that's a long-term relationship, and they're booking them every 3 months for treatments, what have you.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. Sophistication level of your audience. And what I would think about here, and you're probably right with mid, but in these like dental, cosmetic dentistries and dental specialists, I almost think it's more mid to low just by my knowledge, low to mid, I should say. But you have your wife that's probably a better judge of that. I'm just saying in their terms of digital solutions, I still think they're a little behind a lot of other industries in terms of their sophistication level. But again, that's just an overall assessment without doing a lot of research.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. I just chose mid as we were starting, and actually thinking about it, they're probably low. They get stuff from people, hey, here's a chat bot, put on your website, and then they're not really paying much attention to exactly what it does, things like that, So.
Correct. Yep. Cool. Now, do I have certainty I can deliver the solution? So what I'm really asking there on, say, a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can get your client that result in, you told me it's about a 90-day program, right?
Yep. So on a 1 to 10, I would say I'm a 7 at this point, but as I kind of fill it out, that's going to increase. And what I
Right.
mean by that is I'm currently running ads and I'm talking to dentists right now. So I'm gonna fine tune this, and I'm also selling an AI bot to kind of get in the door. So I'll know the inner workings and know how to fulfill the bigger solution.
Good, good, perfect. I generally tell people if you're less than 8 here, you should probably go back and reassess, your thought process, your expertise, your fulfillment. But it sounds
Hmm.
like you're dialing it in and you're going to ramp up confidence to that 8 or above, which is
Yes.
fine, especially for your first handful of clients. It's fine to say, this is a beta program. You guys are coming in I usually tell them they're coming in at a discounted rate, which we'll talk about when we start to build out your pricing here momentarily. But yeah, and then once you have proof of concept and results, right? At that point, you'll probably be a 10 in your certainty, and then we can talk about how we would potentially raise the price at that point, and at least my
Absolutely.
thought process on there.
Yeah.
Cool.
As a side note, obviously I want to get paid, but I'm working for case studies in this niche right now. This is what I'm working for.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. And then let's just say our solution, right, is to fill calendar with qualified patients consistently and predictably. So your speed guarantee, the program is 90 days, but how quick? I would probably put in for a program like this 2 different time frames. This is when you should start to see your first calls. This is when you should start to see an ROI,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
I would just put that in
Yeah.
really quickly.
I would say within 30 days, first calls, ROI. Um,
Probably 60 to 90, somewhere
yep,
in that.
60 to 90. That's exactly it.
Perfect. Perfect. That's great. Now let's just scroll down to the 4 obstacles that you had filled out. And what the question says there, guys, is what are the 4 biggest obstacles that your prospect will need to overcome to ultimately achieve this result, right? And that's what people sometimes struggle with this is they think from what they know about it and not necessarily from the prospect.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to look at the 4 you have real quick. So scroll up. Was there one above this or
Yeah.
no?
No, this is
Okay.
it. There's 4 down here, but I copy pasted. So if you don't need this context, don't worry about that. I can take that out.
No. The context is all right. We're going to
Cool.
cover this really, really quickly, but disillusionment with paid ads, the promise of instant results, social media, was okay. That kind of ties into one of the ones I'm thinking of.
Hmm.
Let me see your second one. Hold on. I'm just taking some notes. Frustration and discouragement, consistency with lead generation. Yeah, I think that's a byproduct of other things. I don't know if that's necessarily an obstacle that they can really
Hmm.
overcome, right? Like what? Okay, cool. Scroll down a little bit more. Let's see the other 2. Marketing agent import targeting. Cool. So I think those all go within more of fulfillment and what you can help them overcome more so than like obstacles they face. Generally speaking, if you want to just take a quick note, these usually fall into one of 4 different things, right?
Hmm.
One big obstacle is just, I don't know what I don't know. It's lack of knowledge, whether that's market misconceptions, as you alluded to there,
Hmm.
could be a couple different things, but it's generally lack of knowledge. So I just don't know what I don't know. So 1 comes down to knowledge. 2 generally comes down to either time or time versus capital,
Hmm.
right? So like, is there a return on investment? How long should I see these results? And also time kind of dives into number 3, which is the cost of inaction, right? If I don't get this solved and I don't move forward, what is the future cost of me not jumping on this solution? Let's say
Hmm.
it's 6 months down the road, Mark, and you're still not running profitable ad campaigns and you're still not getting your team's calendars full. Where's your business going to be in 6 months? Shit, if this is going on
Right.
another 6 months, Mark, I don't know. I might have to cut some people. And
Hmm.
by what you told me and how much you want to take care of your team, that sounds like something that's going to weigh heavily on you. So what's really stopping for us from getting started today, right? And that's how you get people to move forward in conversations. You
Hmm.
hold them accountable to something they said out of their own mouth, right? In 6 months, if we don't get this solved, I'll probably have to do X. Oh,
Right.
and that doesn't sound like that's within your core values and what you're trying to accomplish, right? Um, yeah, so those are usually say the main 4, and then number 5 is generally it's more of a mindset thing. You know what I mean? It's a mindset in terms of I've heard this is a scam, I've heard this is a scam, what's working nowadays? So kind of goes
Hmm.
a little bit with with I don't know what I don't know, but I think it's separate in terms of these are all things running through their head that make them not move forward.
Got it. What was I'm sorry. So what was after of inaction? What was number 4 there?
No, that was mindset was 4. I went through 4.
Oh, okay. So mindset. Okay.
I went on for a little bit about cost of inaction, but yeah,
Got it.
no, I usually just come up with about 4.
Got
And
it.
basically, number 2 is kind of 2 separate ones because sometimes it's just a time crunch. Like, hey, Mark, I don't have the time to figure this out, right? And then sometimes it's, hey, I don't have the revenue or I don't see the return. So that sometimes could be separate, right? Or you can look at it however you want. It's almost like a 2 and a 2A because sometimes it's really just the time thing. Like, A, I don't have the knowledge, but B, even if I did know how to do it, I kind of might. I definitely don't have the time to sit there 20 hours a week and start running email campaigns and paid ads, right? So it's like, that's why.
So these are really just, I mean, this is framed a little bit different, but these are really objections that are going on in their mind, right?
100%. Obstacles are another word for objections.
Got it.
You know what I mean? There are obstacles before they become an objection when you get to a sale. It's looked at as an obstacle when you're just in discussion of what are your roadblocks. But people generally, especially in a low to mid-level sophistication, are going to fall into these 4. These are the 4 that you're going to see very, very common. Sure, there will be outliers where somebody has a different, right? But like these are going to be very, very common. So let me just jot those down again when I got money, time, well, time, capital, money, cost, in action. Cool. All right, cool. If you want to stop screen share real quick, I'm going to go in and go how we map out the program and put it into an offer that can sell.
Cool.
So this I've done for, oh shoot, I got like 9 million pop-ups here. Oh, I might have just stopped. I think I just stopped my live stream somehow. Oh, well, if I did, I'm still recording either way. I don't even know what I did. I had the wrong screen come up. Let me go back to where I was. Okay. So for this, basically, and we can go back and tweak any of this. I'm just going to type right off the bat what I understood off the conversation in the worksheet that we just did.
Okay.
Now, this is the only thing we're going to go back to. But I always ask people, do you have a general price of what you feel this is worth in the market or comparables? Have you done any research or what you think you should be charging?
Yeah, so we're charging 15,000 for the 90 days.
15K for the 90 days. And that's a established price or that's like the startup price, like the beta price?
That's the beta price. That's the beta
really?
price. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to see what the deliverables are, and we'll go back to that. But I think there's a lot of things out there in the market for that as like a full price, detailed, hundreds of proven case studies offers that people are getting for about 15K for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean it involves the AI, it involves
yeah. We'll totally get into it. We'll totally get into it.
The targeting, what you guys offer, all of that stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, then that could very, very well be. Dentist, and how did you have it worded with your?
It's I think I said cosmetic dentists and other dental specialists or other specialists. So cosmetic dentists.
Yep, I got it.
Yep.
Boom, that's the who. So when I do an avatar, and this is always interesting because we've all probably been through other programs or some type of training about like your offer avatar worksheet or just an avatar worksheet, right? Or something along those lines. And what I've seen, and I've paid for, I paid 15K for one program that I joined about 4 or 5 years ago. But I don't know how much I paid, but some of these things to me are so ridiculous. Like I had to fill out an avatar worksheet one time for a program to define my ideal client. They're like, what's their favorite food? What's their favorite TV show? Like all this bull crap you can make up in your head that isn't going to matter one bit when you go into marketing and how you're going to craft your messaging. There's really 3 things I look at. Number 1 is the who, which we've defined. Number 2 are some prerequisites for my ideal client. So off the bat, do they have a staff of so many? Have they been in business X amount of years? Do they do X amount in revenue? So what are some prerequisites, let's say, for your ideal client?
So a minimum, so just high level, we're only working with dental practices that have at least 75K monthly income to start,
Is there any others?
and obviously looking to scale, you know, quickly. But um, yeah, at least 50 or at least 1,500 charts on file. So 1,500 patients in their database.
Yep, good one. I like that one.
Um, they have to have they have to have at least one or two high ticket offers. So that could be implants. Again, that could be TMJ treatment. That could be Invisalign,
Yeah,
um, things like that.
cool. Those are really good. Any more off the top of your head? It's like usually 3 or 4 are pretty good here.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. And then the last thing I always like to ask people when I'm doing this is what have they maybe tried before coming to you, Mark, or what might they try instead of working with Mark in your agency or your consultancy, I should say?
So they'll go to an SEO on retainer. Is that what you mean?
Yep. Oh, that's definitely one. Sure.
Yep.
That's a perfect
So
example.
SEO and retainer, media buyer or just an ad manager on retainer.
Yep.
They will try to use the internal marketing components of their dental practice software, which as a side note includes like, weird postcards and, all kinds of like 1980s style stuff. They're like realtors in a lot of ways on that side.
Yep. Using dated
Yeah.
or ineffective marketing strategies.
They'll try to do it themselves.
It's a great one.
Um,
Try to figure it out for themselves
yeah,
or hire their cousin who just learned social media
absolutely.
marketing is going to make me blow up, right?
Yeah, my wife is, without giving too much away, my wife is working out of practice, and the brother-in-law is doing the marketing.
You see it all the time, and they think and not to say that their relative might not be great at something, but it's a big difference between,
Yeah,
doing it for a brand and getting effective ROI consistently.
yeah, totally. In terms of like some of the components that our solution solves, if we're just talking about like response times and stuff like that, they'll hire an outside nighttime service to answer phones. I don't
Okay.
know if that's something. I'm specifically talking about the AI portion that we build into this system.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think
Yeah.
what you got there is good.
Okay,
That's
cool.
good. Cool. So now what I would like, and the reason I have this, it doesn't always have to be 4, but in all the offers I've crafted and what I've seen work, generally speaking, the offers that either have 3 or 4 core pillars or components with each having, say, 3 or 4 subcomponents within them are what generally sell the best for a couple of reasons. Number one, once you start to go beyond pillar 4 and 5, 6, 7, now you start to become a generalist in 6, 7, 8 different areas rather than a specialist in problem number 1 or 2 in their business.
Yeah,
So you're viewed as more of a generalist. Now, if you have less than 3 pillars, which I actually think is better than having more than 4, but when you
yeah,
have less than 3, there's a big market misconception of I'm paying 15 grand for this and I'm only getting 2 things, right?
yeah,
So like it's more just a perceived value, and you have to be operating at a real high sophistication level if you're going to go with like 1 or 2 pillars in your approach. Those people are happy to pay whatever if they see it solves the problem. They don't care if there's 1, 2, 4 things involved, right? But generally speaking, people kind of see it that way. And the
yeah.
way I like to map this out for you and make it simplistic, I'm sure you're going to say a lot, and I'm going to condense it down to a few things. But let's just say that I'm your ideal client, right? I run a dental practice, doing well over 100K in revenue. We have high ticket services. We have over 1,500 charts on file, yada, yada, yada. I'm looking to scale. I'm looking into new digital and AI components to try to be on the forefront, and I'm ready to onboard and work with you. So let's just say I signed and made my payment today. What's the first step when I come into your program?
So the first thing is we have a planning phase, which is a pillar of our program,
Yeah.
and within that, what we do is I talked about the pre-mortem. So basically, we're doing goals and risks, and figuring out exactly, where they want to go and what the dangers are to the actual existence of the practice. Then we figure out their ideal one ideal patient that they want to work with, like their perfect patient.
Yep.
And then we craft what I call an irresistible offer around both of those initial items.
Beautiful.
Yep.
That's a good stuff.
So and really just the overall thing while planning, it's just one patient, one offer, one funnel, and we're just patient acquisition on that. That's the reason why it has to be high ticket.
Yep. And there can be upsells or downsells off of that, but the
Absolutely.
core offer still has to be high ticket.
That's it. That's it. So
I fully agree. I fully agree.
So phase two.
And just so I'm clear, no, sorry, it's a sidebar. I want you to go into that. But what is an ideal high ticket offer for one of them? Let's say an Invisalign. Do you know the average cost of one of those procedures?
They're doing Invisalign right now, or they call them clear aligners. So different companies are doing it.
Yeah.
Between probably 4,000 to 7,000, I'd say total.
Cool. So that's a good thing with your 15,000. It's like 3 patients and you pretty much already got an ROI. Like 100%. That's where you break even. Anything after. Cool. All right. Yep. So pillar 2 or phase 2 is what?
This is the design phase.
Gotcha.
And so what we're doing is we are once we have our offer in place, we know we're gonna recruit a team. So we're looking for setters, appointment setters in the first part, and either in internal treatment coordinator, training the treatment coordinator to close, or we hire a closer, an actual closer that can close treatment.
Yeah.
We produce all of the copy. So we're doing the ad copy, we're doing the funnel page copy, all of that stuff.
What did you say you were training? I'm sorry. What was it called? You were training the treatment? Is that what you
said? They're called treatment coordinators.
Treatment coordinator, or you'll place a closer. Gotcha.
Yeah, they basically just sell. They close the deal basically after.
Yeah, I just didn't know the title. Perfect.
Yep.
Then the copy, I got that. Yep.
Yep. So ad copy, funnel page copy, all of that stuff, email sequences, everything gets designed in this stage. And then also we put in place and design the AI, the conversational AI.
And that's within the design phase, or is that within pillar 3?
It's within the design phase because we're creating the prompts. We are basically mapping out. I basically have 3 steps within that, where we do database reactivation on one segment, basically segmenting the audiences for the AI.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
And then the last phase is implementation. And so the first part of that.
Yep. Go ahead.
The first part of that is implementing the AI. So starting the 12-month plus database reactivation on the old patients.
Yep. Carry on.
Implementing the starting our ads. Start to run the ads. And I should mention here that I think in the design phase.
Yep.
For the ads, we will also be doing the audience lab targeting and stuff like that. So creating the audiences in Audience Lab and building up that whole infrastructure. So ad campaigns, firing up the GHL and the automations. And testing. And then the last one is what I call scalability and growth, but it's really, measuring and mapping out where to go from there.
So is that in this pillar still, or is that a separate thing?
I have 3 phases. I'm sure I could create 4, but I like I like it.
No. 3 is good in this case. Say it again. What do you call it? Scaling and what?
Scalability and growth, and analyzing, I guess. Or, yeah. or measuring growth. That's a good one. Measuring growth.
I guess I spelled it right. Scalability and growth analyzation.
Yep. And I'll yeah.
You can go ahead and change this. I'll send it over to you later and just make a copy or whatever and go in and change it. I just threw this together. So I think your price point, what I would do if I were you is I would start at somewhere between 9 and 12 for my first 5 to 7 clients and then bump it up to that 15. And then from there, you can also assess 3, 4, 5 months down the road where you're at. But that's what I would do to bring in my first handful. So I'm going to price this. And again, totally up to you. This is just a recommendation, but I would price this somewhere between 9 and 12K. First 5 or so clients. And then bump to 15.
Yeah. I think, you know, in order to kind of pull this off and have best in class everything, you know, I need to this type of thing needs a high ticket upfront charge, right? I can't say, hey, give me $2,000, we'll start, because I need to go out and actually.
Oh, I agree. That's why I think you're in a decent industry for that too, because those guys, if you got with the right practice, they will invest, 10K upfront, whatever that number is. If there's clarity and certainty in the result and they haven't been screwed too many times in the past and they believe you. Sometimes them being screwed in the past actually plays into your favor as well. Yeah, I'll kick it back to you in 1 minute. What I always like to do when I do these sessions with people, and I've done over 250 of these for private clients back when our PDOCS auto organic program was running. When they would come into that program, it was 6K back then. They would get a one-on-one offer session with me within the first week. They would also get a one-on-one knowledge gap session with Adam back in the day then, or we had another expert come in and spell Adam in that for a little while. And now in my $50 a week program, there's still an option for that upsell, but normally people pay between $500 and $750 for one of these sessions, or they got it in a 6K program. But what I always like to do, people, is kind of pitch it back to you really quickly as, again, I knew nothing about this before we started 30 minutes ago. And I really knew nothing before the last 15 minutes in terms of the program and how that looks. But what I'd like to do, and just for time's sake, we're going to go to the part of, we're going to go through a little mock role play sales call here real quick, where I'll be you be the dental patient. And let's just say that we've already been through the discovery portion, the problem, the solution, and you're the right client, you're suffering from the problem I solved, you're interested in the solution, and I'm just getting to the pitch, right? So just for shits and giggles, let's go into there. So, hey, Mark, based on everything we just talked about and your, desire to grow the company to 125, 150K a month from the 70 or 80 you're hovering around right now. And you told me like now is the time to dive into it. So Mark, would it be cool if I just run you through my program and how we've helped other dentists like yourselves scale that revenue and do so consistently and predictably? Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. So basically, when I start working with a new practice, I go through 3 main phases, and within those phases, there's a couple subcomponents. I'm just going to scroll through it quickly on the screen, right? So let me run through these really quick. Now, phase 1 is the planning. This is to make sure the vision in the alignment is all in sync so we can build out all this stuff right. I don't want to start designing and building copy or implement if the vision's not right and we're not looking at the same goals. So we want to meet and get on alignment with that and make sure we're building this all out within your company's vision, your culture, your lingo, right? And all that type of stuff to reflect that. We really want to dial in your one ideal patient. Sure, you're going to have people that deviate, more qualified, less qualified, smaller ticket, yes, but we really want to have one offer, one ideal patient, and then build off of that. But that's the main core offer to scale. So we want to dial that in. And of course, that leads right into the next one, which is crafting that irresistible high ticket core offer. And then again, we can build down the road once we scale and see this is all validated. We build spin-off campaigns to upsell and downsell other things with other marketing channels, right? Then we dive into the design phase, which is really where my team does the most work and sets up everything, which is going to, kind of roll into pillar 3 there. But number 1 is we're going to recruit the right people to put in your business, to be appointment setters, to be speaking to your existing list of business. When we start running your ads, we need people replying to the engagement there, the comments, the people sending in applications. So we're going to place, train, and recruit an appointment setter into your business that make sure they're pre-qualifying and booking people into the treatment coordinators, schedule, right? And then if your treatment coordinator, say, isn't the best at closing deals, we're either going to work with them and train them up where they will be able to, or we will place somebody in to close the deals for you. We really only need two things in our practice, right? We need people coming in the door, and we need people to be able to close them into packages. So that's the main focus of everything we do. Sure, the little bells and whistles that go on and play a part of that, yes, but we make sure that that's the focus of everything we do, bringing quality people into your practice and teaching your team how to close them into the core package, right? Then we're going to get into designing all of your marketing assets and copy, whether that's funnels, landing pages, revamping the website, branding, right? All that stuff that you guys are going to need to go into your ad copy, your creative. We're going to help you do that. And of course, we're going to need some stuff from you because it is still your brand, your image. We don't want to just have custom voiceover content. We want you guys to be the face of your brand and be out there in front in your copy, right? Then we're going to set up and build out the design for the AI call bot that we talked about, the AI technology that can literally, oops, I just deleted something accidentally. I'll go back in there. Yeah, so we're going to build out the where was I?
AI call bot. Yep.
Cool. And what we're going to do within there, again, is just set up and get it all scripted to reach out, know exactly who we're targeting, ask those preliminary questions, and then get them to come in and book an appointment, as you heard in some of the demos that I ran you through, right? And then lastly, within this phase, we're going to dive into your in-market custom audiences. So what that means is we're going to go in and build out, I think my screen froze. I don't know what happened here, but I'll go in and fix it later. So we're going to go in and build out in-market custom audiences for you. And what that means is we're going to use our super graph, which is tracking 280 million users and 1.9 trillion behaviors daily, people within your ideal clients, meaning certain zip codes, certain income levels, and have searched certain keywords. And we're going to go build out custom audiences that we can run your ad campaigns straight to. So that's what that means by an in-market custom audience, Mark. And then lastly is the implementation phase. So now that we've designed it all, we've built it all out, we've tested it all and run through it. Now we launch everything. And we're going to launch the AI reactivation to our book of, the 1,836 patients you told me you currently had on file. We're going to start to launch new ad campaigns right to that very targeted audience, as well as resolving identities of your bounce visitors and running website visitors and running very targeted ads to them. We're going to implement our CRM that I showed you on the demo. With some integration and automations. So that will be very much just hands off running and building, a customer retention base, but as well as a booking sequence where you guys can be hands off as practitioners. And then lastly is we really want to assess where we're at, go back to pillar one when we looked at goals and risks and rewards. And are we hitting that? Are we where we wanted to be? And how can we now scale and grow and analyze how to get to the next level? And then we'll jump to those steps. But I don't like to jump into my second part of my program until a client has seen results and made sure that we hit those rewards and those expectations that we set, back at the beginning. So does this all make sense, Mark?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. So I guess the question is well, tell me a little bit about how much all this is going to cost. It all looks really great, but how much is it all going to cost?
Well, the best part is we actually have a beta program going right now for the next 5 practitioners only that come into the program. This is going for $9,000 for a 90-day relationship working together. So that's all the investment of us setting up the infrastructure of the data, the AI technology, the CRM, working with your team, placing people into the business, running the ad campaigns, the marketing. So it's really a hands-on, done-for-you aspect where it's just more in collaboration, like I said, making sure we're with your vision and everything that aligns with your company's values moving forward. But yeah, I mean, it's $9K. This covers you for 90 days. We don't ask you for another penny. We reassess where we're at. We want to have a long-term relationship and grow with you. So I don't want to lock you into some long contract.
Right. And then afterwards, we can just talk about because you said that you would give me all the assets. Can I just kind of take that and run with it, or can I hire you guys to maybe manage it for another fee, or what does that look like?
Yeah, there's a couple different things we can do after the 90 days. When we assess that, we can go on a continuation plan, but we still manage and run everything. If you think your team has the handle on it and you have everything managed and accountable and you're not going to get a drop off in production, there's a way we can also outsource it to you for a discounted rate as well. So again, I don't want to discuss that before we've ever worked together and made you $1, but happy to run through those options. And, if you come into the beta program, you would get grandfathered in. So your continuation rate would still be that same $3K a month that you paid to get in for us to keep managing it.
Gotcha. And you said that you probably get 10 patients over that 90 days, just kind of to maybe, is that proving it out? I guess the question is what happens if you don't hit the 10?
Well, let me ask you, if I hit 9 at $12,000 a patient, would you lose any sleep over that when you
Not at
paid me
all.
$9,000 to get into
Not
the
at all.
program?
Not at all. I guess so. I guess we talk about like what failure looks like, and but no, I mean there's a
Failure looks
threshold.
like
Yeah,
empty calendars, no sales coming in, a negative on your ROI.
yeah.
I would like to exceed these numbers. I think setting 10 clients was a very modest goal. If I
Mhm.
miss it by one and it gets you a 5x ROI, I'm not going to say I failed.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. Yeah,
Right
where do
on,
I
right
sign
on.
up?
So what
I
else
like
would
it.
stop us from moving forward today then?
I like it. Where do I sign up?
Cool. I'll send you over the info and we'll have the docs on. Boom, 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 but boom. So I just wanted to go through that. I didn't even expect a couple objections. That was good in real time. But generally speaking, once they tell me, yeah, Ray, that all makes sense, then I go into my temp check. All right, Mark. So on a scale of say 1 to 10, 1, Ray, you're ugly. Let's hang up now. 10, I need this in my business like yesterday. Where are you on that end of the spectrum, right? And I'm always gauging certainty there. If I
Mhm.
get lower than an 8, okay, Mark, so you're a 7 out of 10. That means you see the efficacy and you see how this could work, but you still have some lingering doubt. So let me ask you, what wasn't in this program that you feel to be closer to an 8, 9, or 10? And then they're going to say, oh, email marketing. Oh, I didn't mention that. Well, in our assets and our build out, we actually build out all your email campaigns. Oh, okay. Well, I'm closer to, a lot of times they're going to say something that's
Mhm.
already in your program that you might just not have specified. And you're like, oh, no, we do that too. Okay, cool. That's a relief. Yeah, I'm a 9 now. Right. And then
Interesting.
later, when I get to the end, and they're like, well, Ray, I need to think about it. Wait a minute, Mark. You just told me 5 minutes ago you're a 9 out of 10. And if you don't get this problem solved, you'll be laying off people in 6 months. So what's there to really think about, Mark?
No, you're
I can
right.
just put it back on them because once I know they have certainty, now I'm just holding them accountable to whatever they've told me on the call, their pain, their desire, whatever that is, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So cool, man. I think you got a great offer here. I like the clear, concise. Like what I do is you laid out the features and I elaborate on the benefits, right? When I speak about it for a sentence or a
Hmm.
paragraph. And again, this isn't my niche, my industry. I'm no dental practitioner or expert, but I think you could go in and pitch that pretty simplistically. I think once you get in the weeds, that's what complicates things.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. So I
Um,
hope this was helpful, man. What's your feedback real quick, just because I got to run to a 2:45, and then I'll make sure I send you this over, Mark, the
no,
recording as well as this document.
I think this is all great, and I think that what I'd love to do is maybe schedule a time to kind of create some knowledge gaps around this niche and just work on that component of it, and then kind of try to find a way to tie it all together, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
It's really not that hard to do.
I do have some assets in terms of like visually kind of showing all of this stuff, but what I don't have, as you saw in the beginning, hey, what do you do? Of course, I'm going to try to describe this infrastructure thing. That what the hell is it? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
And
that's not
why,
going to
what
draw
problem
much
is it
intrigue.
solving? You know what I mean? So I'd love to maybe schedule time with you to kind of go through that. I know you're doing sales right now, but um, you
Oh,
know,
I still do knowledge gaps. I
cool.
still do them quite frequently. I've been doing them more for my own companies and offers, but I'm still always doing them.
Cool. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll get with you. I'll message in. We'll talk about that and set up a time maybe early next week because I'm pretty booked the rest of today and
yeah, if
tomorrow.
not, or if it's an Adam thing, I can reach out to him or somebody else on your team, but just
Yeah,
get that because I'm moving on this offer pretty quick.
good.
So,
I'm hoping you're moving. I'm
yeah,
hoping that this is a step in the right direction too.
yeah, totally, totally.
All right, great. I'll send you over the resources after my next call here. I got to jump to one in 2 minutes.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take
All
care.
right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.